So here's Darwin, who wrote the book on all this stuff and saying, yeah, I don't have a good answer for that one. It doesn't add up. I'll admit. We don't have all these transitional life forms, and we should. And we don't. So that's a problem for my theory. Dr. Stephen Jay Gould, a lead evolutionist, also passed away in the last few years, was a professor of biology and geology at Harvard University. And this is what he said. After 120 years of fossil research following Darwin, it has become abundantly clear that a species does not arise gradually by the gradual transformation of its ancestors. And this guy is not a creationist, by the way. He's an evolutionist, or he was an evolutionist when he was alive. Interesting, huh? You know what the fossil record really does show? If you look at the fossil record, you will find evidence in the fossil record of mature, fully functional species suddenly appearing. Oh, we know what that is. That's this. And it's here. It's fully functional. Look, there's the bones. There's the structure. There it is. And it remains the same over time. We don't find it to be this species in this layer. And then in this layer, oh, look, now it's half this and half that. And then in this layer, oh, it's become something else. You say, well, what about adaptation? What about the survival of the fittest and all the adapting and changes? No, hold on. Understand survival of the fittest, what that is. That's not a principle that explains how we got here, how things got here. It explains how things survive. And yes, things do adapt. But never have we seen anything adapt to the degree of it becoming a whole new species. It just doesn't line up. I say that natural and scientific law, every time you look at it, it's going to, when you look at it logically and for what it is, it's going to support creation. That in the beginning, it just makes the most sense. God created the heavens and the earth. Either way, you're going to have to accept this by faith. When you look at the design of the universe, when you look at the intricate detail of the human body, when you look at all of the order, I'm telling you, the presence of design supports creation. You cannot show me one evolutionist who won't admit that there's design all throughout the universe. Great design, intelligent design. They will all admit that. But yet evolutionists try to explain all of the design in terms of random order and chance over a long period of time. To me, when I see design, I think, where's the designer? Design logically necessitates a designer. Now, I'm a detail-oriented guy. I love details. I appreciate details. I'm just one of those type A, type freak people. And I got brothers and sisters out there I know who join me in our quest for ordering the world right and being on time and all those kinds of things. So I love detail. I appreciate the detail. I pay attention to when people put time and effort into making the details right. But I've never seen a detail that did not have a detailer. A design necessitates a designer. For instance, okay, let's break it down. Mount Rushmore. I've never been there. I would love to see Mount Rushmore face to face. We would all say it is absurd, absolutely crazy, ridiculous to think that Mount Rushmore is a result of a huge windstorm. And over time, the sand beat against the rock until these four noggins appeared. No, we all know that some very brave, very crazy, brave men got up on the face of this rock and chiseled out these guys' face out of rock. The Mona Lisa, we know. It would be absurd to think that Leonardo da Vinci was walking through the courtyard one day, thinking about what he's going to paint next, and he's carrying his canvas and a well of paint, and he tripped and fell, and the paint spilled upon the canvas, and he looked down and he went, I'm done. This is great, I'm famous. Now, we know that doesn't make sense. The most famous painting in the world is a result of the creative genius of this phenomenal artist. A simple watch has to have a watchmaker. It just makes sense. look at all of the little gears and little hands and all that. Someone had to think that up. And you take all of those parts of the watch out of the watch, put them in a brown paper bag, shake it up, put it on your countertop at home, come back a year later. You still got a brown paper bag full of watch parts. 1,000,000 years from now, it's going to be a brown paper bag full of rusty old watch parts. It will not, given a whole lot of time, design itself into a fully functional watch again. A watch has to have a watchmaker. There's not even to talk about yet the stars, the intricate detail of the sky, the moon, the sun, a snowflake, the ocean, flowers, a beautiful sunset. Have you ever noticed the sun's going down and it's this color, and then the clouds change color as it gets, towards the middle of the sky, and as the sun goes deeper into the horizon, the colors, they continue to change. Phenomenal, the detail. To me, I look at that and it just makes sense. Somebody had to do that. That doesn't happen on its own. That's not accident. That's not chance. And then I wish we had time to uncover the intricate details of the planet and how life is sustainable on the planet. For instance, do you know, we're breathing oxygen, you know that. But did you know the only reason we can breathe oxygen is that there's a just right mixture of carbon and oxygen in the lower levels of the atmosphere. If the ratio of carbon to oxygen was just the slightest bit off in the lower levels of the atmosphere, we would not be able to breathe the air. Life would not be possible or sustainable. The Earth's axis, the Earth is not straight up and down, it's tilted one way or the other, depending on which way you're looking at it. The degree of the tilt of the Earth's axis is just so that A, law of gravity holds us onto this thing when it's spinning around, and B, so that we don't burn up or freeze. The Earth is 93 million miles away from the sun. Any closer, we burn up. Any farther away, we freeze to death. Life is not sustainable. It seems like to me somebody, or let's not draw that conclusion yet. It seems to me that a supreme being, the uncaused cause, went to an awful lot of detail to make sure that we were here and that life was possible and sustainable. Then the human body. Wow. Just look at the human eye. Let me read to you what Charles Darwin, again, he's the big evolution guy that wrote the book, what he said about the human eye. Charles Darwin said that to think that the trial and error of the evolutionary process could have formed the human eye with all of its incredible complexities seems, and I quote, absurd in the highest possible degree. Charles Darwin looked at the eyeball alone and said, my theory doesn't explain that. My theory can't touch that. That's bigger. I mean, the evidence is just overwhelming. But as we begin to wrap up this morning, I want to take you somewhere else. The presence of design necessitates a designer. And I believe that God, as the divine designer, has signed the universe with his signature. In places all over, both small and great. And he's just waiting for us to discover his stamp, his mark, his touch. Signs that, yep, he did it.